Happy Halloween, YouTube. This is Tiger Lily 2336 coming at you with Bromopar. This is our Halloween edition, and we are going to be discussing the act of responsible procreation.
Yeah, you notice that we're in costumes, and it's actually not just because it's Halloween, although that was a handy excuse for me to dress up in my favorite genre.
As well as me.
Yes, but one of the things I've noticed about the argument of responsible procreation when it comes to why banning same-sex marriage is supposedly logical is that in reality saying that same-sex couples are not capable of responsible procreation, therefore they should not be allowed to marry, is really just a disguise, just like what me and Tiger Lily are wearing right now. The disguise is meant to hide the real reason why Protect Marriage, the American Families Association, National Organization for Marriage, why all these religious groups are trying to get same-sex marriage banned is because they don't like gays. But they can't just come out and say that because that's hateful, it's discriminatory, it's bigoted. So they had to come up with some other reason, and so that's what they came up with, and so they're harping on it.
Yes, I've had many discussions lately. I had a conversation with my brother Stephen, who's gay, about responsible procreation, and his thoughts on the matter were kind of the same as mine. As far as I'm concerned, I'm the kind of person where if you can't prove to me that you have some semblance of evidence to back up what it is that you're saying, then as far as I'm concerned, you're basically blowing smoke up my ass, which I don't appreciate because that's just uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, you take a look at the number of heterosexual couples that are out there. Now, first of all, like myself and my ex-wife, we didn't plan to have a child. My ex-wife just came home one day and she said, "Oh, by the way, I'm pregnant." And so the planning came after that. Also, you look at the number of heterosexual couples, my father and my mother. My father got a vasectomy after I was born. My mother's been through menopause. And yet, after she went through menopause, she was allowed to remarry, even though she's not capable of procreating. So this is why I say the responsible procreation argument is just a dress up, because there's plenty of heterosexual couples out there that either don't procreate responsibly or they can't procreate at all. And really, that's the excuse that churches are using, because to churches, they want people to marry to procreate. We mentioned this in a previous video. It's an ancient tradition. It goes back way back when, when it used to be required. Okay, if you're going to get married, now you have to have children. But now that's not a necessity. But for some reason, that ideal carries over to the churches, and that's why this is a religious argument. Oh, well, gays can't procreate with each other, so they shouldn't be allowed to get married. And it's also that same reason that homosexuality is seen as unnatural, as against God's will, and then it just snowballs from there to this whole big bias and hate. And but that's pretty much where it comes from, and that's why responsible procreation, quote unquote, is being pushed so hard as the legal reason why Prop 8 should be enforced. And it's because, quite frankly, any other reason they give isn't going to work. Referring to the Constitution.
Thank you, I'm sorry. Okay, Constitution, my bad. It doesn't say that you have to get married. It does not say you have to have children. Getting married is a right. It's a privilege. Having children, it's a right. It's a privilege. If you want to do those things, go. God be with you or whatever, and fucking do it. Don't sit there and think that you can't do it because somebody, and I'm not going to name names, people bully you into thinking that you can't have what you want. We can all have what we want. We are all capable of having anything on this planet that we deem worthy of us, without question. And it's really like, okay, I said something to that Ken Baller 00 guy. I made one comment in a night where I was so livid with the shit that he was saying. Well, I was delirious because I had, gone to bed and it was really late, and I was also very angry. I maybe said like a
So.
paragraph where I was, yes, thank you. You know, it was a paragraph where I was explaining to him that if, you know, he couldn't prove it, he couldn't back up any of the information that he said, then he was full of shit. And what did he do? He turned around and just 5 straight comments of more bullshit that comes out of his mouth.
And I'd like to point out it was Responsible Procreation, state-sponsored Responsible Procreation. This is his proof, quote unquote. And yes, it's true. A gay man and a gay man, a gay woman and a gay woman cannot together procreate with themselves. But it's not like they can't procreate at all. They could have a surrogate mother or father. They can adopt. These are both options. So, I mean, you know, they can procreate. They can raise families. They can have families. But you know, you're so focused on that, you know, a gay man can't have a child. Gay man, you know, sex, gay women's sex is unnatural. That's what's, you know, the real argument here. Is that's why Prop 8 was enforced, because, you know, religious people don't want the same-sex couples to be together because they don't like them. They don't think it's natural. They you know, it's gotten so out of hand that I mean, now they're being bullied. We got, you know, I talked about a Mormon priest, Weve, I believe his name was. He's bullying people. We got Clint McCants. He's yelling at people on Facebook. Andrew Chevelle, the Assistant Attorney General of Michigan, I talked about him recently. He's been writing Chris Armstrong like crazy. And it's all because the church will not let go of that ideal that, you know, homosexuality is a sin or wrong or whatever. And so they came up with this mask, this costume, you know, which is about as real as my helmet.
Or my wig.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, if responsible procreation is a logical, scientific reason to keep people from being married, then I'm really a clone trooper from the you know, the Republic fighting the separatists, and I got Cathie Jones sitting right here next to me.
Singing all that jazz in front of a bunch of drunken people back in the 1920s.
Yeah, it's baloney. It is total baloney, and, you know, basically we're making this video right now because we want people to see, you know, the real argument for Proposition 8 and banning same-sex marriage anywhere. It's just a dress up. They don't want you to know, Protect Marriage and National and all those people, they don't want you to know that the reason they don't want gays to get married is because they don't like them. So they came up with this, you know, rational, responsible procreation bullshit to distract you. It sounds logical, you know, but they, at the same time, they're harping on it so much because they don't want you to look past that. They don't want you to stop and think about their argument. They just want you to accept it, accept the law, just like everything else in religion, the Bible, God, the devil, all that other garbage. You have to accept it. Don't think about it. Just take my word for it. And, you know, I'm right. And, you know, whatever else.
And, you know, something I would like to point out that Bromo Pride mentioned in one of his last videos about the bullying that goes on in terms of, you know, people who are gay or lesbian, transgender, so on and so forth. Well, I have a really big problem with this, and, you know, it was brought to my attention not too long ago that my own brother, my own flesh and blood, was, you know, bullied over being gay. And I told Ken Baller, and I'm going to tell anybody else who sees this who may even consider the idea of siding with that self-righteous douchebag, the bullying has to stop. Lives have been lost. We're so, you know, I'm sorry, it's upsetting, I can't even begin to form the right words. Excuse me. I don't think that it's fair that people have had to take their own lives because they have been bullied into thinking that what they feel and how they think is wrong. If you are out there and you are the ones who are bullying people who are gay or lesbian or transgender and they kill themselves, their blood is on your hands. It's verbal murder. No matter which way you look at it, it is verbal murder. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let a whole bunch of you fuckers run around and keep this shit up. Because I will remind every single one of you who so much as bullies one more person that it's wrong.
I'd like to point out one of the 5 teenagers who committed suicide actually it was a lot more than 5, but one of the teenagers that made the news that committed suicide last month was an 11-year-old boy who never identified himself as gay, but he was incessantly, unceasingly bullied as being gay. So, if you think that, being a bully and, like Clint McCann said, I won't wear purple unless they all kill themselves. If you agree with that, okay, keep in mind that you're so blinded by your own hate, you're not just harming gays, okay? You're harming straights, you're harming everybody. There's a lot of collateral damage when it comes to bullying. My wife has had to suffer through it. She recently identified as bisexual. She's caught a little bit of crap for it.
Yeah, and something else, I'm pretty sure that all of us have been bullied at one point in our lives over, how we looked, or, I got picked on in school every day until I went into junior high school for being tall and being skinny. And it was horrible. It was a horrible experience. I had kids beat me up in 2nd grade. How fucked up is that?
Yeah, I was a target of bullies. Same reason. I was small. I was kind of scrawny. And kung fu videos were becoming really popular. So if they wanted to know if I took karate, I said no. And so they'd fight me. The thing about bullies, take a look at Clint McCann. So why he backed down so quickly? Because he got stood up to. You stand up to bullies, they're cowards. They don't have a leg to stand on. They look for the easy targets, the weak targets, the people who aren't going to be able to stand up for themselves. And those are the people that they're looking for, and that's why, they're bullies.
And if you're going to go around and bully people who are gay or lesbian or transgender, you might want to take 30 seconds of your miserable fucking existence to remember a time where you were picked on and you weren't accepted for who you were, for how you dressed or how you looked or the music you listened to or the movies you watched. Think about that before you go and you bully them, because the fact of the matter is that we've all dealt with bullying. It is a horrible thing for anybody to go through, whether they're gay or they're straight.
If you hate somebody, if you don't like them, do yourself a favor. Take more than 30 seconds. Take a few minutes. Look at yourself in the mirror. Take your fucking mask off and realize that what you're doing is, and why. Really, what you're doing to people. Think about what you're doing, how badly you were hurting other people. And look at yourself and say, I can live with the fact that what I'm doing might cause somebody to commit suicide. I can live with the fact that what I'm doing is going to traumatize somebody. I can live with the fact that I'm hurting people's feelings every single day. I can live with the fact that, I can live with my hate. I can live with my dislike for those people. And, how can you? I can't do that.
Neither can I. That's something to lose sleep over. I don't know who in their right mind could sleep soundly as a baby through the night, and wake up every day knowing that they've done something that's affected somebody else in a negative way.
If I knew I hated people as much as you people do, I would kill myself. I can't live with that much hate.
It's horrible. And it has to stop.
It does. Please, all of you out there who, if you know anybody who might be bullied, if you are being bullied, call the Trevor Project, find a mentor, find someone in your area, and if you know of people who are being bullied, same thing. There are resources out there so that you can stop bullying. My own daughter, 6 years old, going on 7, she told me about something she learned in school called the power of one. One person stand up to bullies, and they crumble. So, don't let hate run free. Don't let bullies just run their mouths and pick on people. Stand up to them, because you'd be amazed how little it takes to remove the mask and wipe out the costume and expose the discrimination and the hate that is being thrown around right now. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Bye.